On our most recent trip to Las Vegas, we took a day trip to Death Valley, something we've been wanting to do for a while. Today we look at myth versus reality of Death Valley, along with a once-in-a-lifetime event that has taken place inside Death Valley. So come along and wander with us as we visit this unique place of legend. Death Valley is located only about 2.5 hours away from Las Vegas, the largest and closest city to Death Valley. So it's a very doable day trip. We suggest leaving as early as possible so you can see as much as you can before the day ends, as there's a lot of walking. There are not really any services inside the park, including cell service, so we printed out our maps from the Park Service in advance to get an idea of where we were going and what we wanted to see once we got there. We'll put a link below so you can review them in advance for your trip. In August of 2023, over 2 inches of rain fell in Death Valley in just 24 hours from remnants of Hurricane Hilary. While this doesn't sound like much, Death Valley averages only 2 inches of total rainfall every year, so this was definitely an extraordinary event. It's crazy to see what a couple of inches of rain can do to the roads. The flash floods from the rain damaged 1,400 miles of roads inside Death Valley and closed the park for 2 months. Some of these roads are still closed, mostly on the western side of the park, as you can see in this map. The roads in the red are still closed. We downloaded this map from the National Park Service, and we'll put a link below. The result of this heavy rain caused the extinct lake in the basin called Lake Manly to fill up with almost 10 inches of water. We'll talk more about this coming up, so stay tuned. The drive, in our opinion, is very scenic, and the time seemed to go by quickly. Before we knew it, we were there. We stopped to pay the National Park entrance fee at this self-serve kiosk located just off the road, and soon we were back on our way. Our first stop was on the east side of the park, at Zabriskie Point, named after Christian Zabriskie, a prominent figure during the heyday of the Pacific Coast Borax Company, who mined borax in the late 1800s and into the early 1900s. There is a large paved parking lot upon entering this location. It was very busy on the day we were here, but there seemed to be enough parking available for everyone.
We are in Death Valley, but apparently we are in the Badlands.
We thought this was funny because we've been to the Badlands in South Dakota before. The walk up to the top of the vista is fairly long, about 1/4 mile, but it is paved, handicap accessible, and a pretty easy walk overall. If you are interested in hiking in the Badlands, you can pick up a Badlands trail map at the Zabriskie Point parking lot. Once at the top, we were in awe of what we witnessed. The areas you see with the black tops are actually the volcanic material basalt, a harder material than the lighter colored material under it. You can see the erosion of the softer, lighter color material from the powerful force of water over time. These videos don't do this view justice, and it's just something to really be seen in person. In our opinion, this is a must-stop when you come to Death Valley. From Zabriskie Point, we made our way up to the intersection by Furnace Creek Inn and then headed south to the basin. Our next stop was at Devil's Golf Course. The road to get down to Devil's Golf Course is rocky, so be careful not to pop tires going down this road. This really cool spot was given the name Devil's Golf Course because the ground is so rough that people said only the devil could play golf on such rough links. These formations are crystallized salts composed of jagged formations deposited by ancient salt lakes and shaped by winds and rain and are forever changing. It was a really cool experience to walk out amongst these formations and hear the crunch of the hardened crystals under our feet. All right, well, what you got here, this almost looks like the slush you knock off the wheel wells of your car with in March, but actually this stuff is really rock hard. I mean, it is hard. And it's a salt crystal, and it's very, I mean, there's no give to this stuff at all. It is rock hard and really impressive. I mean, you just look out here, over here, and you kind of pan over there and look. This spot wasn't originally on our list to stop at, but we're sure glad we did stop here and suggest you do the same. You won't be disappointed. From Devil's Golf Course, we head south to the lowest point in North America, Badwater Basin. On the way, we spotted this coyote only about 10 feet off the road, so we stopped to take a closer look. At one point, it looked at us to acknowledge it saw us. It was really cool. Badwater got its name from the little bit of water coming from a spring-fed pool that is in the basin. Back in the day, a surveyor's mule wouldn't drink the water due to the high concentration of salt, and the spot was named Badwater. As we walked down to the basin, we found the Badwater Basin sign. If you look very carefully, you can see the sign placed up in the side of the hill showing where sea level is at. With only 2 inches of annual rainfall, the basin with the extinct lake called Lake Manly rarely, if ever, has water in it due to the evaporation rate being higher than the rainfall amount. At one time, scientists believed that Lake Manly was over 700 feet deep tens of thousands of years ago. No, this isn't snow. It's high concentrations of salt on the ground. In the beginning of the video, we spoke about the 2 inches of rainfall in 24 hours. This is why the lake now has water in it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event here at the basin, and we were so thrilled that we were able to witness it. Estimates were that up to about 10 inches of water was in the basin during our visit. There was a recent heavy rainfall that has kept Lake Manly at around 10 to 12 inches of water, but it won't last for long with the high evaporation rate that occurs. So make sure you get here as soon as possible if you want to see this.
Right, so here we are at Badwater, California. We are in Death Valley National Park, and this is Lake Manly, something that is almost never here. And of course, with the one time we're here in Death Valley, there's water.
And it's 282 feet below sea level right here. So it's going to be one of the lower spots in, what is it, the Western Hemisphere?
In the Western.
I'm not quite sure if it's the lowest spot, but it's one of the lowest spots. So definitely really cool spot. There's just a few inches of water in here, they said. But this is, like Ann said, this is something that they said never happens hardly at all. So that's why this is just an incredibly unique thing for us to see, and frankly for most people to see, just because this is rare. Our last stop is at Artist Palette, located just to the north of the basin. To get there, you need to take Artist Drive's Scenic Loop. This is a one-way scenic loop and one of the most popular drives in the entire park. They do limit the length of vehicles on this road to 25 feet, so be aware. The walk to the vista is not too difficult, but there are some loose rocks and hills and some places to watch your footing on. Once at the top of the vista, you will see just how beautiful this spot really is. Here we saw an assortment of colors of red, orange, yellow, blue, pink, and green splashed across the hills. This is all from the volcanic deposits of iron oxides and chlorite, giving it the rainbow effect colors you see. We finished up our day viewing all this beautiful scenery on Artist Drive. We left the video length of this scenic drive in its entirety, just slightly sped up, so you can see all the wonders and beauty this drive has to offer, just as we did. The day was drawing to a close, and we started to lose our sunlight, so we didn't get to see all the places we wanted to visit, but hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell to discover where we will be wandering to next.